You are listening to episode 56 of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Welcome to the Peaceful Mind Podcast, a place for creating the peace of mind you need to be the best mom you are created by God to be. If you want to bring more balance, more joy, and more peace to your motherhood, this is the place for you. I'm your host, certified life coach and Catholic mom, Danielle Thienel. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, let's get started. Hey, lovely ladies. Thanks for being here. It's going to be so fun today. We are going to visit the ABCs to interior peace. Now, if you're someone who came to the episode today and you're having a great day and you're feeling good and you just feel nice and content and peaceful, just stick with me because this episode will be a great reminder of perhaps some of the things that you are doing to get to that place. And so we want to keep doing it, but we also want to tell our brain how we got here, right? So we can learn how to stay in the state of peace for a longer time. On the other hand, if you are a mom who is feeling stressed, inadequate, out of control, unworthy, perhaps you are more frazzled than you want to be, feeling directionless, overwhelmed, and you just want so badly to have more than just little blips of peace in your life, more than fleeting moments of calm, certainty, and just to be able to feel at ease, content, and fit joy in here and there, then you too are going to want to grab a piece of paper and a pen and get ready to hit pause and play in the podcast, or to get out your notes section on your phone. Or as with every episode, don't forget that you can find a link in the show notes to grab a copy of the transcript to each episode. But you're going to want to make note and come back to what I have to offer today. And I've really tried to make it very simple, hence the ABCs. And just to let you know from the beginning that I'm not going to go through every letter in the alphabet to give you the process for interior peace, but I am going to go from A to G. So whenever you find yourself being stressed and just out of sorts and not feeling peace, you are just confused and worried and just full of sort of like out of control feelings, I want you to come back to these 7 concepts. I truly believe they will get you back on track towards peace. Now, make note that my plan today is to just briefly talk about each of these steps, and that if you want to, at the end of this podcast, you realize that these are things that you need help to get to a place where these steps become a part of how you more naturally operate, then join me for a free life coaching call and let's see if we're a fit to work deeper to solidify these actions in your life. Okay, let's dive into the ABCs of interior peace with A, and that is acceptance. I want you to just move closer to a place of acceptance about what is happening in your life today. That just includes yourself, right? And the people around you. And just what I like to say is, what is the facts of my life? That is like, are you married? Who are you married to? How many kids do you have? Where do you live? Just everything that is happening in your life right now. And we need to come to this place of where we're just accepting. And the opposite of that would be that we are in denial, that we find ourselves saying, I wish this wasn't happening, or I wish this person didn't have this problem. Do you see what I mean? Just a quick example is like perhaps you have been diagnosed with something and you just find yourself saying, why me? I wish that the doctor hadn't said that I have, and whatever it is that you have. Instead of moving to a place of acceptance of what is. That is the very first step of interior peace. is to really just become aware of your current life today and all of the facts that exists inside of that life, and not argue with what's happening, not argue with the number on your bank account, the number on the scale, who you're married to, what age you are, right? Isn't that sometimes you can find yourself arguing like, I can't believe, and in my case, I'm 46 years old, and I'm not arguing that I'm ever going to be able to be back in my 30s and 20s again. So again, acceptance. Move to a place of just accepting what is in your life right now. Okay, B is boundaries. We all need to set healthy boundaries. So where are you not setting boundaries in your life? Where are you saying you're going to do something and not follow through? Where is someone asking you to do something you don't want to do and you do it anyway? A boundary is something you create for yourself. And it can be mistaken as a way to control other people, but that's really not the function of a boundary. An emotional boundary, and this is where we are trying to set a boundary so that you can remain with interior peace. It's very much like a property boundary. It delineates where one person ends and another one starts. So it's a way of drawing a circle around our behavior and ourselves. And it may seem that boundaries would separate us from others, but really they do quite the opposite. A boundary includes a request you make of someone to change a certain behavior and a consequence of what you will do to self-protect if they violate this boundary again. So I'm going back to that self-protect. We want to protect our interior peace. You want to be able to remain calm and not be stressed and just feel very certain about what's going on and how you're going to show up. And sometimes that means that we have to promote our own self-responsibility and empowerment, which means you need to protect yourself emotionally. And this sometimes needs that you have to clearly communicate to other people what you will and will not do. A quick example of this is when it comes to school lunches, I tell my kids, like I make the request that I will put out their lunch on the corner of the counter, and I request that they take their sandwich or things I've prepared for them the night before that are in the fridge to put them in their lunchbox. And I tell them my boundary is, okay, I've gotten out the lunch for you, which I'm happy to do, but you need to remember to get it and put it in your backpack and take it to school every morning. And if you don't, the consequence is I am not bringing it to school. So to follow through, and I'm just bringing this example because it happened just this morning, where I came out and I saw that it was still on the counter. My son is at school, the lunchbox is still there. And you know what? For a minute there, I could tell myself just being really frustrated. I just felt it kind of boiling it up. But I said, oh yes, I have this boundary in order to keep my peace and not be frustrated and not have to, embark on my workday, that he knows that he has to figure out how he's going to get lunch at school on his own, because I'm going to keep calm and not interrupt my peace or my flow of the day in order to get it to him at school. And like for all of you who has been listening, he is now off to high school, so it's not like I would deliver it anyway. Anyways, boundaries. Are you setting healthy boundaries to maintain your interior peace? If not, then look in your life where you could start setting some boundaries, following through, and keeping your interior peace. The next letter is C, and C stands for courage. Now, I already just did a podcast on this a couple weeks ago called Curiosity and Courage, which talks about how important these feelings have played in the success in my life. And it also definitely contributes to the peace that I have, because you will be able to take different action in your life if having peace, internal peace becomes a real priority and focus for you. Then you are going to need to be brave and step up and take some courageous action in order to make the changes in your life that you need. Maintaining your interior peace will have you needing to be brave. Again, the actions coming from courage will be profound. So if we combine the last step, boundaries, with this step, courage, perhaps you have to make a boundary that you are not going to volunteer as much at school, perhaps to, let's say, drive on a field trip or something. And whenever you will see that invitation to volunteer come your way, you may have to create courage for yourself in order to uphold that boundary and say, no, I don't do this anymore, or only a certain amount of hours, and whatever that boundary is for you. It will take courage. Okay, the next letter is D, decide. So decision making is such a skill set that I am a huge proponent of. It will propel you forward if you focus on becoming a really skillful decision maker. And you'll have more peace in your life. Interiorly, you will feel more peace if you make decisions often and quickly. We have so many decisions to make throughout just even one 24-hour period of our life, right? And when we don't decide on something, if that we're contemplating between, should we do this or should we do that? Should we keep this? Should we not keep it? Should I take this job or not do this job? Should we go to this school or not this school? What to have for dinner, what not to have for dinner. It's just constant decisions. But when we don't make them strong and we don't make them fast, then we will stay in confusion, which is the opposite of interior peace. It feels terrible, right? Indecision, when you tell yourself you don't know what to do. So again, look around your life and see where you feel that confusion because you are not making really strong decisions, and begin to change that today. Okay, the next one we have is E. I want you to embrace the present moment. There are just too many times to count of how many times I've heard a mom say that they want to be more present for their kids and family, and that they feel guilty because they are not. And really what's happening is that wherever you are in your life, you are spending your mental energy either in the past, thinking about things that are over and done with and can't be changed, or you're spending your time in the future and of thinking about things that probably could happen, and more so than not from a place of worry, right? Do you relate to this, moms? Where you think, oh, if this happens and that happens, like that would be so terrible, and what should I do? And just spending this kind of mental space thinking up these scenarios of possible things to happen in the future. And then there is like I said, the mental energy of spent in our past. Now we have lots of good, wonderful memories from our past that make us feel amazing when we think about them. But what I'm talking about today is that you need to embrace the present moment. And the way you do this is just to redirect yourself to the now if you find yourself in those negative feelings and out of peace, because more than likely you were thinking about something in the past or the future. So it'll happen. You have the human brain, and that's just what our brains do. But when you aren't in peace, because peace is found in the present moment, it's found in what you're thinking about right now, about the now. So I want you to embrace the present moment by just noticing where your thoughts are. Past, future, probably you're out of peace. The present moment brings you right back to that nice place. Okay, now we are on to F. So far we have A, acceptance, B, boundaries, C, courage, D, decision making, E, embrace the present moment, and now we're at F, forgive. forgive yourself and others. Internal peace comes when we forgive ourselves. We are human beings. We make mistakes. We are not perfect. We are never going to be perfect until we go to our eternal resting place. And so if you are finding, here's that past again, that you are reliving and not letting go of something that you have done in the past that might have been a sin or a mistake, and it's affecting you in the present. So how about forgiving others? Is there someone right now who you're having a really hard time forgiving, even if your brain is telling you that it's something that's unforgivable or awful? Is that person even around you? Do you even see them? Because oftentimes we have had instances in our lives where we think that the other person needs to apologize, or it's too much to be forgiven, or we just find ourselves not knowing how to forgive. But really notice, has it only been hurting you? Do you spend a lot of mental energy and time like reliving what happened, or even going to places where you're wishing them negativity or harm on their life? Right. Well, the other person, they might be off living their life and not even thinking about it. So notice how your interior peace is disrupted because of the mental anguish that you're creating for yourself without going to the step of just letting it go and really forgiving them so that you can have interior peace. So F is forgive. Forgive yourself and others. This is a huge one. We know this, right, mamas? If you share the same faith I do, and if you are Catholic, and when we go to confession, how we feel amazing when we come out, you can do this for yourself right now. Forgive yourself and forgive others. Okay, here we are at the last one already. G, it's grace. And this isn't actually a step that we can do. I'm just bringing it to light that this is just something that is. Grace is essential, and grace is also something that is given to us from above, and it's not something that we can go after. So we need to know and to call on and to think about and to pray about and ask God for grace each and every day of our motherhoods. He will give it to us. And it's just essential, right? Like we just will be a human being who doesn't get it right all the time. And we're navigating and growing and just trying to figure out this life stuff and this motherhood stuff, right? Without an instruction book, we're just kind of each day doing the best we can sometimes. So just bring to your mindfulness of knowing that you can call upon the grace of God to help you each and every day. And you will find that when you ask, you will receive the peace you are looking for. So there are the ABCs of interior peace that I wanted to offer you today in just kind of like this little quick session of it. Of course, each one of these we can dive in deeper, but just to recap, acceptance. Become aware and fully accept the facts of your life. 2, boundaries. Set healthy boundaries for yourself and uphold them for interior peace. Courage. Take different action than you have been in order to see the changes that you want and feel better than you do. And this oftentimes means that you'll need to create the feeling of courage for yourself so that that will fuel courageous action. Then decide, decision making. Look at how you are deciding. Are you often in confusion and indecision? Know that in order to get yourself to a place of peace, to return to a place of peace, become a person who decides often, decides really strongly and quickly so that you can get out of confusion and into a place of peace. E, embrace the present moment. As much as you can, keep your mind focused not on the past or on the future, but in the present moment, because your power for creating peace for yourself always comes from what you're thinking about right now in the present moment today. Okay, F, forgive yourself and forgive others. And last, grace. Know that through the grace of God, you will maintain and have the peace that you seek. I truly believe the ABCs I presented you with today can be beneficial to your life through any stage of motherhood that you find yourself in. And whatever that is, I want to just tell you that I pray and wish you interior peace today and always. Okay, everyone, I just enjoyed this one so much. And if you have too, let me know. Email me or DM me at my Instagram at danielletenold.com, or you're always welcome to rate and review the podcast, and I invite you to do so. I will see you next week. Have a great one. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Are you ready to take everything I teach you here and put it to work for your own life? To really learn how to have peace of mind no matter what is happening around you? If so, I'd love to have you as a client. As your coach, this is where you'll get personal and focused time on your own mind using life coaching tools, concepts, and proven life-transforming wisdom, all through a faith-filled lens. To learn more about how we can work together, come on over to danielletenold.com. There, you'll see how to sign up for a free coaching consult and learn how to get started. Until next time, peace be with you always.